could. Yo, you can send them the link to our Google Sheet,
Right.
and they should be able to just read it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they should be able to just read our Google Sheet, or you could download it as an Excel
Okay.
and do the same thing. Because I know they're
Okay.
gonna do an Excel sheet.
Player, team.
Oh, don't break your computer though.
That's true.
All right, we're back. We're streaming again, and we're about to have the thumbnail. Oh, I didn't email it to myself yet. It's always the little things. Let me see if I even downloaded it from Lambo. See, people should know at this point 5:30 means 6. Like that should be a given. And if we say 5:30, like that's what we're going with.
Yeah. Uh,
All right. We got 2 live. Good to go. We haven't started yet, fellas. Don't worry. I guess they probably tell we're sitting in silence. It's like Chris and I got in an argument. It's kind of awkward now. Shadur Sanders ended the pod. All right. Thumbnail is uploaded. Ethan said he's gonna Scheffner the draft and said he's gonna get picked 2 picks before us.
that would be funny, actually.
You should tweet it out. Be like, Wise Guys mock draft live.
Yeah, right.
Live.
Live tweet the draft. I ChatGPT after this because it's really slow right now. I
All
think
right,
it can
yeah.
do it.
Okay, cool. As long as it can get the logos without it being distorted. I feel like that's possible, right?
It offered headshots too, which is funny.
Oh, no. No, no. That would look like Madden, but worse. All right. I have so I want to get the comments. I want the comments to stay up, and I need the mock draft up with who's there. All right, I think that did it. Yep. Ethan, our mics sound good? Give me a text real quick because it delay on YouTube. Oh, I guess it doesn't matter. I would have to text him to ask the audio. Jeez.
You amped up.
I am too amped up. I'm pumped. This is exciting. And we'll just get whenever Ethan says our audio is good. I'm in no rush. We can wait till 6. Yeah, all good. All right. Let's get going then.
Roll.
You ready? All right. Let's get started
Yep.
in 3, 2, and 1. Hello and welcome to the Wise Guys podcast. I'm your host, Brady Fitzgerald, joined as always by my co-host, Chris Hagan.
How you guys doing?
I'm pumped up, Chris. I'm excited. Sadly, we're not doing NBA. We'll have to put that on pause. It's been an incredible playoff so far. Just want to get that out of the way. But today, Chris and I have been hard at work. We've been texting sources. We've been getting the fans' opinions all around the world. And we have the first ever Wise Guys fan mock draft. All 32 teams, and um and it's a lot of fun. We have a lot to get through, and we're gonna get started right into it. Well, Chris, say what's up. How's it going?
Hey, going great. I mean, this is our first annual. I think we'll definitely continue to do this because we've had a lot of fun. You said before the pod, we're basically playing Adam Schefter,
Yep.
texting all the representatives from the teams. We hit on, I think, 25 teams we had a representative of. So any team that we didn't get somebody for, we just filled in. But I think we can get closer to 32 next year. Pretty good start for our first fan-led draft.
Yeah, I think we can get 32 next year for sure. This was a sprung. What we started. I think I threw out this idea maybe Saturday, so this was 4 days in the making. You give us a week, we can get a Discord going. We can get trades in this mock draft.
We
That's
could
the
even do a
real
live
goal.
stream. Everybody's phone number in a spreadsheet. You
All right,
get 3
who
minutes
has
to make a
8
pick.
hours? Yeah, I was gonna say who has 8 hours?
No,
32
we just
people have
cut down
8
the
hours.
time.
That's true.
And the first round of the draft's only a couple hours. So if we cut
That's
the
true.
time, like 2/3.
Do you think the ultimate goal is
Yeah,
to get
hour
a
and a half.
7-round mock draft?
No,
That's just a waste of time. That would be fun. It
that's
would be fun. Like, it would be a fun exercise that we'd all hate after, like, 10 minutes of doing it.
yes.
I do think a Discord where we can get everyone all the GMs in there,
Yep.
and we can get some trades going. I feel like that would be fun. We can get some real
Yes.
scenarios
Trades would be
going.
fun. That's our next step.
And I think this needs to be clear based on what we did. This is what the fans want. Like, we didn't tell them to pick realistically.
Correct.
We didn't tell them to go. We didn't tell them to do anything. We just said you're the GM, make your pick, and here's who's been taken. Um, so there's some surprises. It's not like other mock drafts. And we're gonna get right into it. Enough talking about it. So with the first pick in the NFL draft, the Tennessee Titans do select Cam Ward. So Riley Hudson, our fan GM, shout out Riley, number one pick. He he said that they need a quarterback no matter what. They can't have Levis on the roster again. They can't run it back with Levis. Um, Let me pull up exactly what he had. And he thinks Cam Ward is he's gonna be a good quarterback. He thinks that he has the right mentality. He's been saying the right things. Um, he also knows it's pretty much locked. It's pretty much going there. I think today came out, like, I think Adam Schefter said it, that they've informed Cam Ward that they're gonna take him number one. Which I feel like, what are we doing here with that?
What
Did you see that?
I didn't see that, but I saw the interview bite a couple days ago when they asked him like who the best running backs in the league were, and he said Spears and Tony Pollard.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
I think that's what sold Riley, honestly. Um, we were talking about it on Saturday, and I was talking to him about those Fortnite clips, and the he was like, "Yeah, the guy. I mean, he's locked in to Tennessee." He said Calvin Ridley's a top 4 wide
Yeah.
receiver. He said
Way to go.
Traylon
Yes.
Burks is a top 4
Yep.
wide receiver. If you want a guy that wants to be there, and
Yeah, that's right.
Cam Ward wants to be there and take Tennessee to the next level. Um, he did it with Miami. He won. They didn't win they didn't win that bowl game, right? They blew it, and he gets subbed out at the end of it. But they won a lot of games. He threw a lot of touchdowns. He's got a big arm. I think he's excited for it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you have to be, especially not like you said that it's definitely a lock. Like you're not, you have no choice other than to be excited, even if you weren't a month ago.
Like, the main key was Levis on the roster. Can't happen.
Nope.
And there's no other quarterbacks to get in free agency, so they can't run it back. Um, all right, Chris, you had number two.
Yeah, so our only celebrity pick of the draft, we did not know a Browns fan, so we reached out to legendary college basketball reporter Johnny Fanta, and he responded within an hour, I think.
That was
Gave him
unexpected.
the situation, and he's going with Travis Hunter. Another one that I think is pretty much a lock at this point. It was a couple weeks ago. Nothing's changed there. You hate it. I know that.
I don't like it.
Um, I don't know where I'm at with Travis Hunter. I mean, obviously, like as a Browns fan, I didn't ask John for a full on explanation, but you got to be fascinated by the prospect of him playing both sides of the ball. I don't know if it's going to happen. Like, I feel like because it's the Browns, they're going to let him do it. I don't know if that's the right thing to do or not, but he's the top corner and top receiver in this draft. If he can only do one, then like he's not worth the second overall pick. If he can do both, can he stay healthy? So I don't know. There's so many questions here. And I'm like worried to have a real take about Travis Hunter because it could go so wrong or so right. Or he could just be like a good corner.
The
And I don't know how it's going to turn out. And that's kind of where I'm leaning that he's not going to end up playing, but that like maybe they try it and he gets hurt or he's just like getting burnt. Like he can't get open because he's so tired by like week 8. So that's kind of where I lean that he's just going to end up being a really good cornerback, which I don't think is worth the number 2 overall pick, but I don't know. We'll see.
I think he's definitely worth the gamble. I mean, 100%.
Yeah.
And I what scares me with the Browns is that there's no plan behind it. If you take Abdul Carter, at least you have a plan of two great defensive ends. You can anchor the defense, figure out the offense in another season. When you get Travis Hunter, it's like we have a guy who might be able to play both sides. He might be able to help out both sides. But what if he can't help out? Like, what if he's not good? And then we're missing two players that we thought we were going to get, and we didn't get any. I do think he'll be good though. I don't think there's a unless he gets hurt. Knock on wood. Um, I think that he has the talent to be a great NFL player. Will it be on both sides of the ball? I don't know. Will it be on both sides
It
of the ball
feels
with the
unlikely.
with the Browns? Definitely feels unlikely. I don't know. I don't know why you'd want to have like, and I guess maybe it's only like your goal is it's first season, and then we get another quarterback. But like, why would you want to go into the season with Kenny Pickett throwing to like one of the greatest prospects? But I just feel like there needs to be a plan. There needs to be something in place that needs to anchor him to something. Because what if because you can tell if a wide receiver is good. Like a wide receiver could be amazing, like neighbors with a bad quarterback, but they can also be terrible with a bad quarterback. And like you know what I'm saying here? If the quarterback can't get in the ball, he
Yes.
can't be effective. Is what I'm saying.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that would be my issue. And like I don't know, the Giants don't have much more of a plan. Um, I just think he has to go to the Patriots. Has to fall to the New England
You
Patriots.
gotta stop. You gotta stop with this because you have to know that it's not happening.
There's no other
The
way.
top three are set.
I
Like they're
fall for
set in
every
stone.
rumor. I think
No,
The Browns trade out.
it's over.
Someone could trade up, take Shedeur. Someone's got to fall in love with Shedeur.
I would consider that if I were the Browns. I would trade down.
Yeah, oh yeah. We were talking about. We listened to the same podcast today, and they
Yes.
mentioned like, this is the biggest hype for Travis Hunter right
Yeah, his
now.
value will never be higher.
Yeah, so it would definitely be worth trading down.
Yeah.
I think with the Browns specifically too, if it's worth trading down, if someone's offering two or three first round picks for him. Um, all right, let's keep going. Fan representative number 3, Riley Nolan. Shout out Riley. Giants GM. He called us in. He said he's taking Abdul Carter at 3. Um, Another it's funny. We said it was gonna be big surprises. Maybe that's what Ethan's alluding to with his
Of
comment here, that it's pretty chalky here at the top. Um,
Give us some time here. Just wait till pick 4.
but he might be helping us out too, because it just says big in all caps. It makes me seem like it's a little sarcastic. But we got the yeah. So Abdul Carter, pick number 3. Riley wants to beef up the D line. They keep going skill positions. They got all the quarterbacks. He doesn't want Shedeur. That's really all I got. I think that's pretty much what's going to happen in the top 3. I think.
I
You
uh
got any
I don't like the Abdul Carter pick because I think it's the right pick. And I don't
Giants?
want Dexter Lawrence and Abdul Carter running after Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, it'll be. I wonder how it'll be like. Nah, I don't. It'll be great. It'll be great on the Giants. It'll be great. And
I mean, the only
but
thing is like his injury, right? If that is
yeah, if
actually
that
a serious
affects him.
issue,
Hmm.
but it sounds like he recovered fine.
I thought
I
he
don't
was going
know,
to be
maybe
out
because
half
it's
the
New York,
season, but it seems like he's
something will
ready to
pop
go.
up. Yeah.
He could fall too. I wouldn't mind. One of the two would be so nice. This is the last pod before draft, so I gotta plead to the draft gods while I can.
But they didn't. So
Yeah. So the New England Patriots are up, and we're taking Ashton Genty. I'm of course the GM.
did I talk you into this in our
I
last pod?
I think you might have. And what I've just been thinking about is just why we're at 4. Like, why get a goal? Why get a tackle? Why do it? Like, get a running
If it
back.
was
Like, have
if
something
it was like a
fun.
perennial if it was like a Laramie Tunzel level prospect,
Yeah,
you want
yeah,
him,
yeah.
but
Don't get a guard that everyone
Bill
says the arms
Campbell's
are too short. That's okay. That's
I don't
the
I
real
don't
asterisk.
think that matters. I really
I don't
don't
think it
think it
matters
matters.
either. But if all the nerds think it
Wasn't he our
matters,
first team
then
all
take the guy
SEC
that
as
you
a
know is going to be
freshman?
good. What'd you say? Sorry, I was
Okay, so
talking over you.
Wasn't he like first team All SEC as a
Oh, he's
freshman?
amazing. Yo, he's amazing. He's spectacular.
And these are SEC. Like, look at the freaking edge rushers
I know,
are
and
going in
I'm
the first
yeah.
round.
I'm fine
75%
with
of
Will
them are from the
Campbell.
SEC.
Look, I'm fine with
Um,
it. But this is a fan
anyway, yeah.
draft, and I'm a
No, I
fan,
know
and
it's fair.
I wanna watch
It
Ashton
is the most
Genty.
fan pick. Okay, I talked it up last episode, and like you're getting the best player available,
Yeah.
almost no doubt. He's going to be good, and you need another weapon in that offense. Like you're done with
Yes.
Ramondre. You don't have great receiver. Like you brought in Diggs. But, like you don't
Booty.
really have that.
There's trade buzz about Booty.
Is
Keep going
there?
though. Yeah, keep going though. Keep
You
going
don't. Sorry, I got shaken off the couch.
though.
Um,
We
you
got a
need
dog
like
stealing
that.
food on the counter. I'll read some comments,
You
Chris, while
need like
you hold up. Thibodeau, I think they trade Thibodeau. I don't think he's been impactful
that's
enough
what I have to find
to
for
worry
that.
about him. Yeah, Chris had him going
Um,
to the Lions in the last mock.
but you could always stack them and then like you let them walk,
Yeah, I
whatever.
don't think he's been impactful
No
enough to be
cost.
like worried about that too much, honestly.
Yeah.
But back to
Anyway,
the
you
Pats.
you need like that stud weapon on your offense, and Genty is going to be that. Like almost no doubt, he's one of the biggest no doubt picks of this draft. So for that reason, like I don't hate it. The problem is the value at 4, and like you could get a Mason Graham on your D line, or a Will Campbell, or a Membu at tackle. I think those are really your only other options.
Okay,
But
but
like
here's the
those guys
thing.
aren't better prospects. I'll agree with you there.
Here, like it's. I'm trying to think here because I was gonna say, is it easier to get Mason Graham in free agency or Ashton Genty? And it's 1,000% Mason Graham. Like we just paid for Milton Williams. We just paid all that money for big D tackle.
But not the elite ones.
Yes. Yeah,
The
that's
elite
true.
of the elite.
And when you look at that
But I
way,
don't know if you have
the
that.
Ravens just got Derrick Henry, who's past his prime, but was elite at this position. Never did anything with the first team that drafted him. Saquon Barkley just went to the Eagles, won the Super Bowl, was not past his prime, but didn't do anything with the first team that drafted him. But would have stayed on the Giants. We saw it in Hard Knocks. He would have stayed on the Giants. Um,
Well, okay, so that's the other thing. If you're going to compare him to Barkley, the Patriots are better suited to put him into their offense than the Giants were. You still
mhm,
don't have an offensive line, which makes me nervous.
yes,
And
but
the
he doesn't.
point that
He
was
does. Does it?
made,
Does he need an offensive line?
he does. It's like Barkley.
Yeah,
Like he can still be a star without a good offensive line, but
yeah. Look
look
at
at
the
how well he
difference.
plays behind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so another interesting point I thought that was made by the 49ers general manager today, actually,
Oh, okay.
said
Judging my
he'd be
picks,
worried he'd
it's
be
funny.
worried about the financial commitment, which I didn't even
Yeah,
think about. But as the 4th overall pick, you're paying him like
yeah, that's true.
9 million, I think, his first year, and it goes up every year. So you're already paying him as like a top 7 running back, maybe in the
Okay,
league,
yeah, that's an interesting point.
which is an interesting
I like that
point.
guy.
And if he is what he's supposed to be, and like the offensive line doesn't matter, which is a big if, then who cares? Like obviously at this point, anyone's gonna pay Barkley what he got. Anyone's gonna pay Henry what he got. So like you pay Genty that much money
And we're
normally.
not paying
But
anyone
would you
else.
rather do it right now, or would you rather wait a couple years and then pay the elite running back? Like when it's the
Yeah,
last missing piece. I think that was the argument.
yeah, and I'm gonna counter. I'm gonna counter with this. The Patriots haven't had a fun first round pick in my
Yeah.
lifetime, besides Drake May. So now we got Drake. Now we got the quarterback. Let's give him something fun to work with. Last time we got a quarterback, we gave him nothing fun, and now he's the backup for the Niners. And I believe if he plays, he's gonna win. He might win the Super Bowl. Uh, still believe in you, Mac. Um,
That's a great take.
yeah, no, that is great. That's not. I'm not. Don't hold me to that. Don't like put that on my gravestone. He thought Mac Jones would win the Super Bowl in the Niners, but I
If he plays.
if he plays. Um, but I mean, yeah, great points. But I want to watch someone fun, and I don't think Tet is going to be
No,
that
I
guy.
totally hear that.
And I don't think anyone else is worth the 4th overall pick. I think it's gonna be Campbell. Um,
Yeah.
and I think I'll be fine with Campbell. Like he'll develop, he'll be a solid player. Um, but just give me something electric. Bijan Robinson went to the Falcons. It wasn't ready enough. I think he's just as good. He's good as Bijan prospect. I see
He's
Thomas
a
in the
better
chat.
prospect.
Yeah, I'd probably better be. Yeah, actually,
I'm not
definitely
saying he
see.
definitively will be better, but he's a better prospect.
Yes, yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, fan mock draft's already done. We got to do it. So, I love it. Love it. I'm riding with it still. I think it would be fun. I don't think they'd win as you say. I mean, what everyone says. There's no O-line. There's still no receivers, but it does help out Drake May. Um, and I think it helps out the O-line a little bit to have a good running back behind it. You know, when Ramondre Stevenson is tripping over his feet behind the O-line, it doesn't help him very much. And it doesn't help the offense when it's 2nd and 9 and Genty can make it 2nd and, 7 at least minimum, 2nd and 6. Like he can get 4 yards of carry behind a terrible line, I think.
Yeah.
Um, all right. Worst case with Campbell, though, you have a Quentin Nelson. Yeah, exactly. I agree with that. That's what Ethan's saying. Worst case, you get a Quentin Nelson, which I'm all right with. But again, the Colts have done nothing. Like that doesn't mean like you go and win the Super Bowl just because you have a good low line. Like Colts have had a
Well,
great O
but one
line for
draft pick is
years.
gonna make you win a Super Bowl
No, exactly.
regardless.
Yeah, of course, of course, of course.
I think that's a
Yeah, that's a good point. But
fallacy.
um, all right. What's up next? We got the Jaguars. Nate, shout out Nate Whitman. Um, he is the president of USC Water Polo Club, so shout out that.
Nice.
Jaguars fan, only Jaguars fan I know.
Hey, I was shocked that that was one of the teams that we got.
Yeah, he's from Baltimore, so I don't know where. I think he just liked the Jags, man. I think he just like um so
Likes the Prowlers.
yeah, he said he kept it simple. He said, "Give me Graham." He wants Mason Graham. I like it. I think he's a I think he's a great I think he's a great prospect. I don't with the Milton Williams thing, going back to the past, selfish. Going with the Milton Williams thing, I don't want them to take Graham just because of that. I think
Mm.
we just paid that money for that position. Why go spend the 4th overall pick on it? But I do like the Jaguars doing it. They have like no D tackles, and I think it would be a great pick for them.
Absolutely. I think this one would be another one that's like one of the least surprising picks of this draft. The need is there, the value's there. He's the
Yeah,
best
it's
player
like
on the board.
it's a perfect marriage there.
Easy
All
enough.
right. Well, let's keep going. We have the Raiders. We got the Raiders on the
I'm gonna get
phone.
him.
Yeah, it is time to get interesting. The Raiders just signed Geno Smith. They got Pete Carroll. They got Chip Kelly. So they got the adults in the room, and they bought the adults in the room to cater Shadur Sanders. Shadur Sanders is off the clock at pick 6. Sorry, almost said 7. Um, and he's going to Oakland or sorry, going to Vegas. Um, I think it's a good match. I think eventually, if he can sit and learn, he doesn't have the pressure, or the coaches don't have the pressure of having the rookie quarterback out there. He can develop and come to his own. You don't have Dion breathing down your neck just yet. And
Yeah.
when he's ready to start, Pete Carroll's going to be ready on his way out. Deion Sanders right in. It's all succession plan. It all makes perfect sense. Um,
It's a horrible idea. Absolutely horrible idea. I hate this on so many levels. Um,
Go ahead.
well, don't draft a rookie quarterback when your head coach is 75 years old. Doesn't make any
Fair
sense.
point.
There are some, and it's like it's not even an indictment on Shadur because I think there are places that I would like him. Uh, it's not Vegas. I don't know. I would just think it would be stupid. Who's their offensive coordinator?
Chip
It's not
Kelly.
Chip Kelly, is it?
Oh yeah.
It's Chip Kelly. Yeah, I don't like that either. Uh, I just don't think it makes sense. Like they have so many needs too. And when you're at 6, like I don't want to take a quarterback who's not worth probably even a first round pick. Definitely not a top 10 pick. And you have Gino right now. And like everybody knows that Geno's not your long term solution, but this is not the draft to take the quarterback to develop. Not when you're this high, at least. If they were at 20, that would be one thing. I'd be for it. But I think like there are better prospects at this point. Like when you have quarterback figured out and you have so many other needs, like focus on the other needs.
Yeah, because no matter what, Shedeur Sanders is not gonna start next year. Like, next tw
Yeah.
2025, he's not gonna start, so the it is an interesting pick to have that high at 7 or at 6 and, and take him. The assistant GM wanted they really wanted they were in discourse, they really wanted Genty. They were pissed that the Pats
Mm.
took him. What do you think about that? Do you think the Raiders would go well with Genty?
I think that's probably where he's gonna end up. I don't know if I love that either.
They It's funny because, like, it worked out with
Had
them
Josh
last
Jacobs
year.
and you let him walk.
They didn't need to take Brock Bowers, and they did, and it worked out, and, like, now he's, like, a great weapon. So, like, that's maybe what they're thinking with
Yeah.
Genty, where it's like and that's where I'm thinking with the Genty pick with the Pats, where it's like, they just took like, they said, "We have all these needs for we're just gonna take Brock Bowers, like, he's the best guy on the board. You see him play at Georgia? You see that guy play?" Like, uh that's what I'm talking about with Genty, and, I think on the
Yeah.
Raiders, it would be the same thing as if he went to the Patriots, honestly. I don't know if they're just I don't like, I think they have other needs, um,
Yeah.
and he'd be fun,
But
and
I also
he'd
like
help
looking at
out.
the board, I don't love like it's kind of a bad year to be picking between 4 and 8.
Tell me about it.
There aren't stud pro there aren't
I've had to
stud
talk myself
prospects.
in and out of all these guys.
I know. Well, Daniel
They're
Jeremiah
gonna take, like,
said that
Jalen Walker, and I'm gonna freaking just rip
yeah.
my face off.
Daniel Jeremiah said that this draft is full of starters, not stars.
What a Jeremiah nerd.
You don't like Daniel Jeremiah?
No, I'm just kidding.
I take
I'm
his
more
top
of a
50
Todd
like gospel.
McShay guy if we're
Mm,
going that route. I always
uh,
appreciate Mel, the OG.
yeah.
Alright,
Uh,
I think we're
yeah,
good on
I'm
the
not a
Raiders
Shedeur
here.
not Shedeur fan
I
here.
don't know where the good place for Shedeur is. Like,
I
he's
know.
gonna suck on the Saints if he goes to the Saints. They're gonna be just as
Nope,
bad
it's
as
not
last year.
Saints.
Um,
Let me tell
it's
you,
like,
or do you wanna wait until they're up?
well, we'll wait till they're up. We'll keep it a surprise for the audience and myself, actually. Alright, we're going to number 7, pick number 7, the Jets, and actually, no, you got the GM. You talk to the GM. You go ahead.
Yeah, the GM wasn't, super tuned into their draft board this year, and then, uh, had some prior commitments come up, so the assistant scouts stepped in and selected Will Campbell on their behalf. I think it's a no-brainer that the Jets go with either Campbell or Membu here, depending on who's there and who they like better. Um, like every year they're taking offensive line at the top of the draft, but they still need it. Like, he just signed Justin Fields, so that'll help him out a little bit. Whoever their quarterback is years from now, it'll help out. And like Ethan said, worst case scenario with Will Campbell, you're getting Quentin Nelson, which I feel like the Jets have not had a stable player on their O line in years. And whether that's a guard or a tackle, I think either way, it's a sweet pick.
And if Fushanu works out from last year and they have 2 stud tackles, now they're working with something.
Yep. Yep. That's great.
Um, alright. I love the pick. I think if they have the chance to I think if anyone gets a chance after 4 to get Will Campbell, it's the absolute steal. 'Cause,
Yep.
I think he'll be slated at 4 and probably go at 4. Um, let's go to the Panthers. We have Nick Merton, the Panthers GM, and he thinks they're going defense, and he thinks they're going edge rusher. So we're going with Jalen Walker, is what they picked. Um,
Kind of a perfect combination of everything because we don't really, he's probably not going to be just a pure edge rusher.
mhm,
He's seems like a bit of a chess piece,
yeah,
if you will, the guy who you just kind of let loose.
mhm.
Um, interested to see how that works out. I think that makes sense for the Panthers though, when you kind of have needs all across your defensive front. So definitely a good fit.
Well, and I think their defense has been stepping up, and they've had young players on their team developing. So having a guy who is supposed to develop a little bit more, they know they're not ready to win anything right away. I think it's a perfect scenario for them. Do you think they go defense? If Tet's here on the board, do you think they pass up?
I wouldn't be shocked if they took Tet.
Yeah.
Not at all.
I have an
Or,
exciting take about the wide receivers, and
okay.
I'm excited for it. But I guess we'll get to that later. We didn't even get to
Our
that.
GM was not happy about sticking with Bryce Young, for what it's worth.
Yes,
That's
yes. Our
really
GM
took
was
no offense,
pissed about sticking with Bryce Young.
which is
He's
not a take I've heard yet.
no, I respect it too, honestly. He's like,
I do
what? He's
too.
had half a good season? Like,
That's where I'm at with him
yeah.
too. I totally agree.
Yeah, I
I
completely
don't
agree with
think they
that
should
with
take a quarterback in this draft, but I don't think he's all of a sudden like top half of the league quarterback because he had a couple good games last year.
Yeah, completely agree.
They
As you said,
overrated.
it's not the draft to say screw it and pivot. There's no guy like that, but like what if they get one of the second round guys? You could definitely compete. All right. Saints. We didn't find any Saints fan. I do know a Saints fan. He is overseas, so I didn't want to bother him. My guy James. Shout out James. Um,
I wish
but
I
I
got the
think
number of some of the Saints fans that I met down in
down
down in
in
New
Nola,
Orleans.
yeah.
There's this old lady we talked to for like 20 minutes on the walk over. New ball.
Yeah, oh,
Would love
dude,
to
she
have
would have been
gotten her
that would have
number.
been yeah, that would have been great. Um, we we got Tyler Warren for her, and I think it's a pretty surprising pick. And I think as a fan, you'd be pretty excited to take Tyler Warren. Um,
Yeah, I mean he's the best offensive weapon on the board.
yeah, they
I
need
think
offensive help. I don't think they need to. They keep drafting O linemen. Um, and this guy. What didn't isn't this the guy who played quarterback a couple snaps? Like, isn't this just Taysom Hill only better at tight end?
sounds like it.
Yeah. So this guy's got to go to the Saints. Actually, it was a Sean Payton thing, but now I just believe it's a Saints thing.
It's a Saints thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's
just
just a
kind of
Saints
sounded
thing.
it too. And Kellen Moore, like he's a kind of offensive nerd guy. Like it's a Saints thing.
This is we're gonna pause
Yeah,
real
I think
quick.
Tyler Warren makes sense. Sorry,
Sorry,
yeah, go ahead.
didn't mean to cut you. This is a good question from Ethan. What QB drafted since Bryce Young would you have had any better success with on the Panthers with how their roster was built? The roster is phenomenal. I'll give you that.
I'd say Jaden Daniels probably would have
Yeah,
been better.
probably Jaden Daniels. Um,
uh,
probably a healthier
'Cause he
Drake
just got, like,
May.
so much taller.
Better than Bryce Young has been. I think a healthy Drake May for
Bryce Young's
sure.
been really bad.
Yeah, people don't understand. Like he had
He's
that
really
good
bad.
like second half of the season, but he was bad. And we're not saying give up on him. I think I said last
Oh,
draft
yeah.
that you should build around him and at least give him another chance. But I wouldn't say he's
Mhm.
locked in to be the franchise guy.
Yeah.
Um, this is the most brand on the Saints move ever. Completely denying everything they need to blow up and then picking a tight end gadget player. Good job, Nola. You're never going to the Super Bowl. I love it. Oh, Ethan said, "What do you think? Jaden Daniels would have gotten 2 more wins?" Oh, Jaden Daniels is amazing. What are you
Bryce Young.
doing here, Ethan? He's crazy. Bryce Young.
Really, the Bryce Young, like, I know we
He had
always talk
Adam
about the recency
Thielen.
bias in the NFL, but, like, holy crap. He was so bad his rookie
Hey,
year.
he
So
had
awful, and he got benched for Andy Dalton last year.
yeah, he did get benched for Andy Dalton. And to be fair, he had to then bench Andy Dalton. But that was the Mafia. I forgot. Bryce Young Mafia got
Right, that
Andy
was a hit,
Dalton.
yeah.
Yeah. If
That
it
was
wasn't for
not
that
yeah.
hit, we're never talking about Bryce Young again. If it
Nope.
wasn't for that hit.
Yeah.
Um, And you have a good I think Ethan has a good point. There's not a lot of quarterbacks that you'd rather would have drafted, but I do think Jaden Daniels is the most
There are
definite.
some, though.
Yes, and I do think Drake May is up there too. I would say Drake May
Yeah.
too. And I'm
Yeah.
being biased. We're being biased. Um, and since Bryce Young, who else? Anthony Richardson you wouldn't take.
Caleb,
Uh,
I would take.
yeah, you'd still take Caleb over him. It's funny, he's probably not that much taller Bryce
No
Young is pretty
Nick.
short. Bro, Nix, good call. I
No
think you
Nick's is
take Bo
better.
Nix. I think you take Bo Nix over him. The real question is if it's the same draft, but Bo
It's so
Nix is in it, is he number one? That's the
yeah.
that's the real question. All right, we're getting way off track. Great
Yeah.
question. So,
That's that's a
we'll read some.
July conversation.
Yeah, we'll read some more later. Um, as Ethan, I think Ethan summed up the Saints pick pretty pretty well. It's exactly
Yeah, well, what
something
do
that
you
they
want him
would
to
do.
do, though?
That's what
Like,
I
he's the
yeah.
best player on the board.
Good counter. Good counter. Because like what? You can get an offensive lineman again. You don't really believe in any of the quarterbacks. And Shadur's gone. Um, and you're trying to help. Like you just got to help out something on the offense. You got to have something. All you have is Wilson. So they do have. Did they re-sign Firemouth and Tyler Johnson? Not Tyler
Wait,
Johnson.
what?
Who?
Juwan
John
Johnson?
Johnson. Yeah, Juwan Johnson. Not Juwan, but
Wait,
John
who's
John,
Wilson?
the tight end. Johnson on the Saints. He's like a.
Juwan Johnson.
Is it okay? I'm thinking of
Yeah, yeah.
Jawan
No, no,
Johnson
wait.
from the. Isn't that the? We just got into the loop. Isn't that the 49ers guy? This is Ethan's fault. I
Wait,
feel.
no, who is the
Ethan, help us out with the tight end
Yeah,
on the
Juwan.
Saints. You know who I'm talking.
I feel
All
like I'm
right.
going crazy.
Yeah,
It's
I think you're
Juwan
right.
Johnson.
I think you're right. But who's the guy on the Niners then? Jawan Johnson?
Also Juwan Johnson,
Okay, all right.
I think.
Good to know. Good to know. Whew.
And there's no, Juwan
I'm
Jennings.
Jawan Jennings. All right, I'm sweating over here.
When I Googled his name, it did come up 49ers. So maybe they also have Juwan Johnson. Juwan Jennings is the Niners receiver.
Yeah,
I had it in
Jawan
my head
Jennings. There
one
you go.
for the
Yeah,
Bears.
I'm sweating. I'm sweating now. Um. Okay. Anyways, I think it would be a funny. I think it would be hilarious if the Saints took Tyler Warren. I think that's the. I love
Yeah.
that pick. Um.
Yep.
All right. I talked to Uriel for the Bears. Uh. And he went with with Will Johnson from Michigan, the cornerback, top ranked cornerback off the board. He needs some defense. I do have a little explanation from him. Let me grab it real quick. He said hiring Ben Johnson was the best thing the Bears done in 20 years. They didn't hesitate to get him, and the commitment to the team, the fans, city, of Chicago, is the energy you need to bring to a reeling franchise. I can see him being the Sean McVay type hire due to their creativity, their roster, and they have no problem uncovering some untapped potential found on the offense. Uh, so he wants to get some defense to help him out, and he thinks Will Johnson is the guy to help out their secondary with with Jalen Johnson, another JJ, um, on the Bears defense. So that is that's what we got. He wanted Genty too. And did you see there's a rumor
Mm,
today that the Pats might trade the 4th pick for the 10th and the 41st from the Bears. So then the Bears get Genty.
interesting. Are you doing that?
I think I'd do that. Because it gets me out of this pickle of the 4th spot. I don't look like the Pats
Mhm.
don't look like an idiot for giving up on all these players. They're like, oh, they traded down, at least got another pick, and hopefully can get 2 good players out of it. Um, all right, we have next up 49ers. This is you.
Yes, this is my coworker Warren was very split on this pick. Uh Wanted to take Membu. Well, was considering taking Membu, felt like that was the no-brainer pick because they desperately need offensive line help. Ended up going with Ted McMillan because
Value.
he was very concerned with their receiver room as well, and he said he's a very tantalizing prospect for the Niners. Uh,
Like it.
he mentioned using the Joe Burrow approach and just going all in at receiver. I don't know how well that approach works when Brock Purdy's your quarterback, but like that is the approach because they're gonna have to pay him, and they've already paid Ayuk. So I don't hate it. Like
I
I
don't hate it
think
either. I'm not an Ayuk
going into
guy.
this system, I was 2 years ago, and then last year, I know what happened. I think
He
it'll be
di
fine.
I just feel like he disappears way too often. But that's just personal. But keep going. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I think Ted is definitely very interesting fit on the Niners here because they have so much speed and like you have McCaffrey out of the backfield and you have Kittle who's just like a wrecker in the open field. And then you have Ted, who's a guy who like his knock is he doesn't get separation, but he makes awesome catches
And they haven't had a guy like
when
this in a
he has to.
while.
They really
Feels like it's
haven't.
always
I mean,
speed, it's always
Debo, like,
gadget. Like there's no one that you can just
yeah,
trust. Like this gives a Brock Purdy a guy that he can just besides Kittle, a guy that he can just
mm,
throw it up to and just hope that
yeah,
he catches a 50-50 ball. You never really
yeah.
thought that with Debo. I don't really think it with Ayuk.
No,
I don't
because he
really know
wasn't a
if it with
receiver.
Debo. Yeah, exactly. He's a gadget. He's a gadget guy. Um, oh, you want me to read a comment? You want to keep going? Because this one's about
Go
Tet.
for it. Is it
All right.
Niners related?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Does the approach backfire when Tet makes Purdy look better and then gets me signed for more money? Should you do whatever you can to make Purdy look worse so he's cheaper and you get him without the fans? Wang.
That's
Great.
funny.
That's a
You're
great
drafting
comment.
defense, then.
Yeah. That is that yeah, just
It's
draft a
galaxy
defender at that
brain
point.
level. Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect too, because you can win games if you just load up your defense. And then
Yep.
Purdy can win all these games and still suck. And then you'd be like, Purdy,
Yeah.
we just can't do it, man. We just can't do it.
That is
Um,
a great take.
that is an amazing take. I think even I'm doubling up on this take. The you pretend like if Ted's there, it's really hard to pass up. But it's like I feel like you just like you're like, oh, we have to spend. We lost all these defenders. We have to spend everything we can on the defense. Sorry, Brock Purdy. Like we can't. Like sorry. Like all like you got to tell him. Be like, sorry, man. If you don't take less money, we can't take these high draft picks that are wide receivers because we won't be able to resign them. Like, sorry,
Yeah.
bud. All right. He said Purdy turned into Garoppolo. I think he just was he always Garoppolo? They both made it to the Super Bowl. I think he
Yeah,
just
they actually have
always
had pretty similar success.
I think he just is Garoppolo.
Probably
And I
more,
think Mac
honestly.
Jones is also Garoppolo, which is why I believe he could win a Super Bowl. No,
Jones not great.
he's not even Garoppolo. He can't even get there.
No, he's had Garoppolo played in the Super Bowl.
All right, all right, all right.
And yeah.
And Tom's saying the old Jared Goff effect with that too. I 100% agree. And I
Yeah,
think
but
that's
Jared Goff
why
is good,
it's up for debate. I
right?
think he's good. I think he's good. No, I think he's good. But
He's
like,
good.
is he good
He's
with
better than Garoppolo.
is he yeah? But is he Brock Purdy good? Like, is he good because like what's around him?
Definitely to a degree.
Yeah, no, and I think
I
he
think
had some
he's still a
semblance.
good quarterback.
I agree.
Not
Oh,
great.
good, definitely, good, definitely.
Obviously not great. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
good. Was
Um,
Garoppolo good though, or was he average?
no, he was average.
He's average. Yeah.
Yeah. No, oh,
So that's where the
Goff
distinction.
is way better than Garoppolo if that's the standard that we're talking about.
Right. So if we're saying that Purdy is Garoppolo, then he's not Goff.
But yeah, okay, okay, I get what you're saying. But there is some Goff effect to it.
It's also a July conversation.
Yes, that's true. Um, yeah, we gotta lock in. We got you got the Cowboys too. So who we got?
Yep. Cowboys wanted Tet really badly. I felt kind of bad because I was like, he's probably not going already. You'll probably be able to get him. Uh, Niners came in and snatched him away. So Cowboys settled for Luther Burden the third, which is interesting. Because
Speed.
I think he's not always the second receiver off the board, but definitely a guy that might be slept on right now. Uh, wasn't he like one of the top recruits in the country?
He had a
It was like
bad
the whole
season on
you
Missouri.
said last time. Well, so
Missouri had a
apparently
bad
his
season.
quarterback was terrible
Yes. And he got
last
hurt.
year.
Brady Cook was the quarterback and he was average or below he was below average before he got hurt. Um he was average before he got hurt. He was Garoppolo and then he got hurt and he was below Garoppolo. Um and he never recovered after that. I think he'd be a great Cowboy. Luther Burden the third. You
I
can
do
see
too. I
Burden the
mean, they
third
need
on the
like
back of that jersey.
yeah, they need another receiver.
I think as a fan pick too, that's great. Oh,
Yeah, definitely.
Ethan's losing his
But
mind.
Cowboys are kind of run like that.
Ethan's losing his mind saying Golden, Burden over Golden, Jerry Jones level blunder.
That's
He
I
said,
had
is it
Golden
a
in mind, but
realistic pick because
no,
Jerry? I think it is a realistic pick because of Jerry. I think Jerry saw
oh,
Luther
definitely.
Burden the third and like just like fell in love with the name. I don't know. I guess Matthew Golden's a pretty good name too. But
We have
no,
Golden went for sure.
no, no. You spoiled it, but no, he did not, which is pretty
Sorry.
shocking. Um, all right, let's keep going. I have a pretty good explanation for this one. Shout out David Estefano for the Dolphins. The Dolphins GM. Um, he said we are gonna take Jahid Barron from Texas. Dude is a hair under 6 foot and a hair under 200 pounds. One of the best 40s out of cornerbacks. Strong cornerback, one of the strongest cornerbacks he's ever seen out of college when it comes off the block. Super fast, great hands, great vision. With Jalen Ramsey wanting out, he's a must draft, in my opinion. Passionate.
Don't hate
Love it.
that. Uh, isn't he like pretty versatile too? Like you don't know if he's going to play on the outside or if he's going to be more of a slot
Yeah.
guy.
hmm Yeah, he's like Quinyon Mitchell last year, where you can move him different places.
Mhm.
Means the Eagles are probably gonna get him. But I like this pick for the Dolphins. I think if they have to trade Ramsey, that was a like he requested out, right? That was a I wasn't tripping on
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So if he requested out, then ideally you're playing him on the outside.
yes, yes, and I think he's as the GM said he's strong, so I think he could definitely play on the outside. Um, and just a hair under 6 foot, not exactly ideal, but not terrible. All right, what else? Anything else for the Dolphins? They've had a quiet off
No,
season.
I think that's a they
I think
have very,
that would be
very
a good pick
quiet.
for them. I think that would be a good
I think
solid one.
so. They have need. I think that or D tackle. I think the value is probably better with Bear in there.
With Membu still on the board, I could see them going tackle because they just had their guy retire.
Yeah.
But
Oh right, I forgot about that.
yeah, they got Ryan. That's not Ryan Ramczyk, right? Armstead.
Armstead,
Yeah.
Teron Armstead.
Yep. Teron Armstead retired.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of
We got
Membu.
Ramsey. Ramsey's getting fought over in the comments right now. He's a
Oh
Falcon.
yeah.
He's a Raven. He's a Falcon. All right. What you saying? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was just saying, speaking of Membu, if we're moving on to the
Yes.
Colts pick,
Oh, I ruined a
the
perfect
fall stop
transition.
here. I stepped in. Um, yeah, not necessarily like number one need for the Colts. Um, again with Membu, like worst case scenario, he can play guard and he'll be a stud guard. Um, the other pick that I thought about here because we didn't have a Colts GM was Colson Loveland because they've been mock Tyler Warren a lot and haven't had a tight end since Dallas Clark. Um, but I felt like Membu, just positional value, overall player value, was the right pick here.
I think with how the draft is shaken up, this would be talked about as one of the best drafts or one of the best picks in the draft. Um,
Not gonna fall that far.
yeah, I agree. And the as you said, it's not necessarily their most needed position, but they could definitely use some help on it. Everyone could use some O-line help.
Always can.
Um,
Yeah.
and as you said, they could go guard too. He could be versatile. I like the pick. Tom's in the comments right now. I know he's ready. Um, let me pull up his little explanation so I can make sure he gets his limelight. Um, did I do it on Snapchat? No way. I texted him. Sorry, this is bad podcasting. We have the Falcons up next, and the Falcons GM Thomas Wilson took Mike Green, Big Mike, uh, out of what's he out of North Dakota, right? Marshall. I knew it was Green. Um, the he needs some defensive help. Uh, I just sent that thing to some. There you go. All right, Edge Marshall. Um, he thinks they're gonna pass up on Walter Knowlton. He thinks Big Mike. Uh, sorry, the Falcons need a pass rusher. They're passing up on the safety. The secondary might have struggled, but we can't pressure the quarterback, and the secondary is going to starve if we can't pressure the quarterback now. So impact pressure. Big Mike had a lot of uh, great. I mean, he had a great statistical career in college. People aren't projecting him to be that doing that well in the NFL. I don't know why they always project the D lineman. It's like almost opposite. I think we talked about this last mock, but all
The
the
more sacks you have, it's the worse you're gonna be. And
exactly, and then the opposite of the other way, where it's like, oh, he just
I
has
mean,
all
he
this
did have a ton
potential.
of sacks. And what are they in? Are they in the Sun Belt or the Conference USA? Like
I think they're in Conference
it's a fair
USA.
argument.
Yes, they're playing against
Like the
weaker.
production is against crappy O lines. Um, so he kind of is a wild card, I think.
I think
Like everything checks out in terms of like watching him play. It's just a matter of like, can he do it against studs of the NFL?
completely agree. And I guess it never. Oh, it was Sunbelt, Marshall. We
About
we need it. Yeah, we should know
those
that.
those conferences just they
They
rotate
all
all the time.
blend together. They but I like it a lot. I mean, and the GM, since it's in the Sun Belt, I mean, he went to Coastal. He was probably watching a little more Mike Green
Yeah,
than
that's
everybody
true.
else, so he knows what he's watching there. All right, Cardinals are up, and I got my guy Kieran. He's the Cardinals GM, and he is going with some more O line. He wants to protect his little midget man in Kyler Murray, and he's taking Kelvin Banks out of Texas. He was surprised he fell this far, um, and he
Yeah,
liked
I
he
was
liked
too.
the pick. Uh, there hasn't been a lot of O line. I think because it's a fan draft. Like the fans don't want to draft O line.
Well, they're also like there aren't that many great offensive line prospects. Like I feel like last year we had a ton,
They're not, and they're
and
not as
like 10 to 20.
all the ones that are up there just kind of seem like they're up there by default. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
nobody really loves them, but they like them better than any of the other prospects, and that's the
Mhm.
positional value of it. So that's what we're gonna go with. I think it's a good pick. I think they should get some more O line.
Yep.
They just went with skill position. They could go with a running back, but this is a deep running back class. Um,
Mhm.
so I think they could get a running back in any number of rounds. I think they're another one that needs to sneak in one of these second round quarterbacks. I like these second round quarterbacks more than
Just
I like
ready,
any of
itching
these.
to move on
Yeah,
from Kyler.
from Kyler. I just need some insurance. I'm too worried about him. I need some insurance.
Yeah.
Um, all right, you're up with the Bengals.
Yes. Bengals fan Kyle Moody. He went with Kenneth Grant out of Michigan. Let me pull up the explanation.
No worries. I like
Uh,
Kevin Grant.
I think it was
I think
pretty simple. Yes, need that run defense.
there you go.
I think uh, looking at the Bengals, like if you draft a defensive player anywhere, I think it makes sense. Like Kenneth Grant, I've heard some scouts say that they think he's going to be better than Mason Graham. And those are guys that played on the same defensive front in Michigan. I don't think you can go wrong with a guy like that playing in that system. Like they just churn out athletes on
That's
defense.
what I'm thinking.
Um,
It's like getting
and
an
I
SEC D
think,
tackle.
yeah, and we'll notice if we haven't already that this draft has kind of followed the trend of free agency where the D tackles are getting taken maybe a little bit earlier than we thought they would be. Um, I think it makes sense. Like looking at the rest of I guess you could have gone edge or secondary maybe, but I mean they like especially in that division, you need beefy D tackles.
Completely agree. And you need to be able to get to any of the AFC quarterbacks, and especially you got to be able to get to Lamar. You got to be able to stop Derrick Henry. Um, they need defensive players badly. Uh, and
Yes.
that's a perfect pick for them there. And I would say the same thing with the Falcons, like as in they just need defensive line badly
Yeah.
enough.
Smith Grant is 340.
Holy crap! See,
You
all
could
right,
sell me. You could
once
sell
I
me
was
on
gonna
that
say
alone.
once you get past three bills and maybe even 320 especially, once you get past 320, like it's kind of watching on my football team. You're just kind of abnormal, and especially if you can run fast too,
Man.
you're gonna be on my
Oh
football team
yeah.
for sure.
Like worst case scenario, he's big enough to just plug gaps.
Just
Best
sit
case
there.
scenario, he actually turns into a DC pass
Yeah.
rusher.
Worst case scenario, I need you to go like that. Ah.
Yeah, just eat block.
Yeah. Um. All right. We have. Oh, Jerry had a great explanation for this one.
Very did. Very did deliver.
Um. And I sent you. I'm glad I took a screenshot. If I can just load up the screenshot. Um. And as I'm saying that, I can't load it up. Here it is. Oh, did I not? Oh my God, I'm fumbling this so badly.
I
Oh,
have it, I think.
because I copied and pasted it to you, not that. All right, I got it up now. All right,
Okay.
with the 18th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select Gray Zabel, tackle out of North Dakota. That's where I was getting North Dakota from. Maybe the only player in this draft who can start at any position in the O line. Seattle is thrilled to snag Zabel at 18, who dominated both at the Senior Bowl and the Combine after allowing a 1.6 pressure rate during his senior season. So same thing with Mike Green. Um, he they're in a lower conference, 1.6 pass rush rate. Like how does he do against SEC guys? How does he do against NFL guys? Um, Jerry's confident.
I will
Jerry's
say
confident that we're
with
gonna see it.
Sable, there's at least a historical actual from North Dakota State in Cody Mauch
That's
or
true.
Mouch.
Yeah, the guy on Tampa Bay, right?
So yes, I got Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I think Jerry's stoked. I mean, it was a surprise to us. I think you texted me, isn't that? Don't you think that's a little high? And I think it's exactly what Seattle needs. And if you're gonna, I think Seattle's one of those types of teams that you could see just picking out a guard, picking out a tackle, not really doing something too flashy. They got their flashy stuff done in the offseason already. I don't think they need to go too crazy here. All right, we have another one that we picked, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We couldn't find anyone in Tampa Bay. Um, you want to go with it? I mean, I guess we both did.
I that was last night from 10:30 to 11:30.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out who the Bucks fans wanted. There is no consensus here. I think the pick that makes kind of the most sense is Jihad Campbell, the linebacker from Alabama, because they have Levante David, who's 35 years old. I think some of them would be pleased by that. Some of them weren't very impressed. It seemed like the most pressing need in their eyes was corner, but we already have the top two corners off the board. So I don't know if they would stick with that preference based on the way the board is shaken out so far. So we ended up going edge rusher. Going to also be a need. They signed Hassan Reddick for your deal. Even if that works out, we're still going to need somebody when he's gone. So we gave them Donovan Easy, not even
Easy.
try to pronounce the last name, from Boston College. Another one of those guys where like the production was there. Measurables aren't as impressive as some of the other guys that you could take in here, like a Shamar Stewart. But I think, especially for a team like the Bucks, that's kind of in a win now mode, like you're not really looking to take on a developmental guy. So I think Donovan makes sense here. I think he can rotate in with who's their other edge rusher? Yaya
Yeah, the baby.
something. Yeah.
How could you forget
With
Yaya
him
the
and Reddick.
baby? Uh,
um, so yeah, I think it makes sense there. Just give them more depth to that position rather than go for the linebacker. That's you have Levante David. You can I find a middle linebacker in the middle rounds anyway.
I think a lot of people were pissed about that they thought they could get that same linebacker. Um, what was his name again from Alabama? The
Campbell.
Campbell. They thought they could get him in the second round, so that's what they were worried about.
Mhm.
Just the positional
Yeah.
value of it, and I think getting an edge rusher like that to help out their defense and just matching them up with Yaya, and Yaya had such a good season last year before he got hurt that now if he gets hurt, you have another guy you can plug in too with Hassan Reddick on the other side. It's everyone needs some edge rushers, and I think that's a good pick for the Bucks. All right, you got the Broncos.
Yep. We got Broncos GM Nate Schneider. He made the pick to stay on defense and take Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss. So we've got another D tackle off the board. I think
I think that's a good pick.
a lot of drafts are kind of you think what?
Oh, I was gonna say that's a lot of good pick. Helping out
I
the
think a lot of
defense.
drafts are kind of assuming that Broncos will go offense, just because they were so good defensively last year, and you have Bo Nix, so like it would make sense, and you could go receiver or Marion Hampton here. Um, Defenses, I feel like, are so inconsistent year to year in the NFL, and you see like these defenses come out of nowhere, and the next year there's a huge fall off. So I think it makes a lot of sense, kind of reloading on that side of the ball rather than trying to upgrade where like it's year two for Bo Nix, had a good rookie year. Like you have weapons. It's not like you have nothing. You can get a running back later in the draft. Like you said earlier, it's a deep class. Walter Nolan, if he didn't have any character issues, would be like a top 10 pick in this draft.
Yeah.
Um, at least from what I've heard, it sounds like all the athleticism is there. The tape shows you a top 10 player, and it's just, is he I don't know if it's like maturity or I guess like film or what the issue is, but that's why not going earlier in this draft. Personally, I don't really care about that kind of stuff. Like if he's immature, I don't really care because he's huge.
Yeah, another
Um,
3 hundo.
just like one of the most athletic players for that size in the draft.
Yeah,
So
he's one of the guys you look at and you're like, "He's 300 pounds? Because he looks like an edge rusher,
yeah,
but he's playing D tackle.
yeah, yeah. So the athleticism is just insane. I like it. I always like picks like this. So
I think Sean Payton's
yeah.
that type of guy to gamble that character issue
Oh,
stuff too.
definitely. Yeah,
The
you think
yeah, that's true. I do think,
he's a character issue.
the wide receiver, it hasn't gotten taken yet, so I'm not gonna talk about him yet. So we'll wait till then. But I do think if there's a chance that they could take a wide receiver here that I think would be work very well.
Okay.
But but if you go running back here, I do think you're wasting. Like I think I did it last time with Omarion Hampton, but it's a deep class. I think
Yeah, I did too.
they have more needs than a running back because they were able to do it with the
Yeah.
committee last year. All right,
Yep.
Steelers, you again.
Yep. Uh, so Steelers, this is Harrison, my coworker, is taking Maxwell Hairston, corner out of Kentucky. Um, he's very upset about the Steelers, not really excited for this year. He wants to trade TJ Watt. That's what he wants to do. So I actually have some terms for you for pick number 4.
Oh, pick number
So the
4
options were Christian Gonzalez and a first,
for what?
which
TJ
would be number
Watt?
4 for TJ
Is this
Watt,
guy insane?
or a first this year and a second this year and next year, and sprinkle in a late round pick next year
So 2 seconds, a late
for
round pick
TJ
and a
Watt.
first?
Correct.
No. I'm not
What if
giving
the
up
first is next
4.
year?
The first is next year?
What if it is?
Still no. I would trade I would trade first next year and that's it.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. TJ, I know he's 31. But like we're not ready. What is TJ Watt like? We're not ready for TJ Watt right now. Same. We might as well take Genti at 4. There's
Like
no way in hell
why?
I'm giving up 4. There's no way on earth I'm
You
giving up
said
4.
you were just gonna give him a 4 to the Bears
Yeah, but
for
for
10 and the
10,
41.
yes.
You gotta do that to get TJ Watt.
Yeah, yeah, I would.
Interesting.
Because Watt right now, that's why we just had our best player. What? And it was a terrible team. 3 years ago was Judon. 2 years ago was Judon. And like nobody gave a shit.
TJ Watt is
I know, but Judon had like
and you upgraded
how many
across the
sacks did he
board.
have? Huh?
You upgraded everywhere.
Since then? I get
Yeah.
what you're saying. Yeah. But no. I'm definitely not giving it 4. Not gonna happen. Just not gonna happen. Yeah, I mean, like we had 15
What
and a half
about your
sacks and
second this
12 and a half
year,
sacks, and we won
first
no
next
games.
year?
Judon he was great for the Pats, and it didn't matter at
It was
all. It didn't matter at all. We had the red sleeves and everything. He had a celebration. I don't need a pass rusher right now. I mean, I do need a pass
great.
rusher right now, but give me a 24-year-old pass rusher right now. How about that?
Great.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get
Okay,
so
well,
angry
that's
about that.
declined. But the explanation was the stupid analysts want us all to take a D tackle, but that's too boring. Um, so then he wanted to take a corner because that's their best need, or their biggest need, but the top 2 corners ran off the board early. But he decided to stick with corner anyway. He really prefers that Will Johnson would fall. And if not, he'd like to trade TJ Watt. But if he traded up to 4, he didn't want to take Shadur, which he thinks they would have done. So
This guy, no wonder it took
lot
2 hours to get the pick in. This guy just think
of
about
moving
everything.
parts. I
Yeah.
was also trying to work today.
I was gonna say, and to be fair, like the Steelers, they're in like I don't know what they're in. They're not in purgatory yet. If they don't get Rodgers though, like they're screwed. They have to get Rodgers. They're in Rodgers boat
Well,
or
I think that's where
bust.
he's at. He's like, I just trade TJ Watt. Like I'm done with doing whatever we're doing.
That is what we suggested on our offseason thing.
Yeah.
They would have had, but they did the opposite. They can't trade TJ Watt now. Didn't they just trade their first round pick or second? I guess it was a second
Metcalf, yeah.
for TK Metcalf. Um,
Yeah, so you move on to take Shedeur.
oh God, no, that's not the plan. That's not gonna
Yeah,
happen.
they're in trouble.
They are in trouble. They need Rodgers desperately.
Yeah, they do. I mean, it's gonna
Um,
happen at some point, right?
it has to, right? I think Rodgers just like delaying the inevitable, like last time. Um,
Yeah.
all right, let's go. What are we at? Where are we at? Where are we at? Oh, we got the Chargers.
Chargers.
Brennan, give me one sec. Loading up his thing. I should be doing this while you're
Love
talking about.
this pick. It's one of my favorite picks.
All right, in this spot, we have to get Justin Herbert some help. That's why we're taking Colston Loveland. Not only is the Michigan connection going to help Loveland fit nicely into this offense, but having Mike Williams and Lad McConkey spread out the offense will give Loveland space in the middle of the field. Forgot that Mike Williams was back. I was like, is he not caught up? And then I realized I'm not caught up. Um, Not to mention he is a great run blocker and in a run first offense that just added Najee Harris. I do like the Najee Harris signing. I think that's an underrated
Yeah,
signing
it's
in
not
the
bad.
offseason. I mean, they're going to use him. The Colston Loveland pick though, I think is fantastic. But
Yep.
you loved
I
it
think
when I
it's a
was
great
saying it,
pick.
so go ahead.
Definitely lower than his value is, I think. There's just a lot of teams that don't really have a need there. Um, it's kind of like the ripple effect from Membu falling to the Colts. I think that's a definitely a possible landing spot for him. And in between them and the Chargers, I don't really see anyone who would take him. Um, so yeah, I think it's if that happens, it's perfect scenario for the Chargers because they're another one. It's like when was their last time they had a good tight end?
Yeah.
Like was it Antonio Gates.
Yeah, not I
Yes, Hunter
remember in a
Henry was
podcast
solid, but
specifically last year mentioning Hayden Hurst and you just giving me so much shit. But no, they have no, that's like the close I think I mentioned it because that's like the closest they've gotten to a semi decent tight end in a long time. So I think it's a great pick. And I think the Michigan connection will matter. I mean, a coach who coached him, they won the national championship, and that doesn't mean everything, but especially because he's just a tight end, so it's not like a
it's
quarterback,
something.
but it does mean something. Um, oh, the Packers. This was one of my favorite picks. Um,
Yeah, I actually
sh-
love this. Yeah.
Shout out Peyton. Uh, Peyton made this pick. Packers GM. He took Emeka Egbuka. I think I nailed that. He said good size, good athleticism, 81 receptions last year. Packers need some weapons and still ranked fourth best wide receiver. Oh, ranked fourth best wide receiver. He just meant in the draft. I think this was my hot take about the wide receivers and about uh the Broncos is this guy reminds me a lot of JSN, his teammate from a couple years ago,
Yep.
where JSN just catches everything on the Seahawks. And he doesn't catch it like, he's not catching bombs, he's not catching 20-yard passes, but he's wide open in the middle of the field for 5 yards, and then he takes that slant route and goes and runs with it. Um, I think Mbuke would be great on a number of teams. I really thought the Broncos would be fantastic with him because Bo Nix would just be able to have that. They have Sutton and then that dump off guy. Um, oh, it's Ebuka, not Ed Egg. He's calling him Egg Buka. All right, Ethan was protecting that for me. Um, but Chris, what are your thoughts here?
This takes fun on me while I was on the Metro ride home. I think if there's one player in like the bottom half of the first round that I would stake my reputation on working out, it's Igbuka. Because he's JSN.
I was just thinking
An
the
Ohio
same
State
thing.
receiver. Like this guy is like they produce receivers who are good NFL players. And like I don't know, I know I just said that I don't care about the character stuff, but like apparently the dude is just a super hard worker. Like he comes from a military family. He reminds me of McLaurin a little bit personality wise.
Can I pause you
And
for a
you
second?
combine that, sure.
Because I want to stop at the personality part. The personality, it it's a plus, but I don't care if it's a minus. It's always a plus, but I don't care if it's a minus.
Correct. Yeah.
But
Unless
keep
it's
going.
like a huge minus.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, so like I don't see any way that he could not be at least a really good number 2 receiver.
It's funny how um like we listened to we talked about we listened to the same podcast right before this, and they talked about this guy Mbuka a lot, and they loved him. They were glazing all over him. But what they failed to mention, they've mentioned all the these wide receivers that were like him, and they failed to mention that he's just literally JSN, and we saw this 2 years ago, and we know it's going to be good. Um, Ethan's laughing at you. Said you sound like Colin Cowherd with the "he's part of a military family" comment.
Yeah.
If he was if he was the sea captain of the Titanic, they're not hitting that iceberg. If Ime Ibuka was the sea
That was one of the takes on that podcast that we had based listened to. Like, give me all the military family guys.
Yes, yes. That was one of their hot takes, was give me all the military family guys. I don't know if I'd go that far, but there's definitely I mean, think
No,
about it.
it's definitely a plus.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and they've always been worked hard. Like they've always since been growing up. Um, right. So I love that pick. I think that'd work. I don't know if the Packers need another young wide receiver. They might have to offload some of their other wide receivers to do that. But is it too hard to pass up at this point? Like, I think if he falls at
Yeah.
this, like, I think it would help out Jordan Love a lot. And I don't think you care if, like, oh, you have some good wide receivers that I would just trade him at that point.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Oh, we got a run of
This
wise
is your pick.
guys. This was my pick. Fan pick. So I'm a fan of this guy, Nick Emenwarier, and I think he's a perfect fit with the Minnesota Vikings. Um, I think the Vikings desperately need a safety for when Harrison Smith retires. I can't believe he's still playing. And Nick Emenwarier is he like he's like the combine king this year. Everyone loved him after the combine. His draft stock skyrocketed after the combine because he measured like DK Metcalf as a safety. And um if you ever thought like they have in Madden, if they have like these, remember Mutt, the Madden Ultimate Team?
Yes.
Remember in the winter they would do like out
Do
of
I
position
remember
players?
Mutt?
No, I know. We're doing a podcast here. I gotta talk to the audience too. Um, yeah, that's funny. Yeah, do I remember Mutt? Everyone remembers Mutt. But they have the out of position players. He's an out of position DK Metcalf, where they turn down his catching radius all the way down. Maybe not all the way down because he got a couple pick sixes this year, in crucial games. In the LSU game, historically, maybe not historically, famously, there you go, famously, uh, got a pick six that got called back. We wanted the game, but great Gamecock. Um, and I think you'd make a great Minnesota Viking um, for their defense.
Yep, love it. I think there's no doubt that they go defense here, for what it's worth.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think if Emin Warrior is on here with how this played out, I think that's where they go. I
It
think he
makes
falls
perfect
right into their
sense.
lap. Yeah. All right. I mean, you got this. We kind of both did this one. This one's, I think,
Yeah,
fairly simple. Sorry.
I feel like this one's kind of a layup. I guess they could go a different alignment, but Texans taking Tyler Booker from Bama. Another like high character guy. Sounds like they didn't have a lot of that in their O-line room last year. And now they don't have a lot of players in their O-line. So be the best guard on the board. Bama guy, tone setter.
This is a lock.
I think it makes sense
Let's
for them.
let's not dance around this. This is a
It's
lock.
as close to a
If
lock as you
he's
can be at
there,
pick number,
yeah.
what's
I was
this,
gonna say,
24, 23.
yeah. If the closest you can get to a lock at pick 24 is this, and I wonder what the odds would be. I'm not gonna do it here because it would make for bad podcasting. I'm not gonna find it anytime soon. But Tyler Booker going to the Texans is a perfect fit, and they need him. Like they completely need him. So hopefully for the Texans, he falls right there. Um, last wise guys pick. Yeah, last wise guys pick. Um, we both kind of settled on James Pierce for the Rams. Another character issue guy that Sean McVay's not going to care. Pairing up with Verse and Fisk from last year's draft. Just anything on the defense on this side, honestly.
Love it. Yeah.
Ethan
Yep.
brought this
No, I
up
think
earlier.
they can
Oh,
go
sorry. Go on.
secondary too, I think, but based on how it's played out so far, I like Pierce falling to them.
I think
Feels like
Starks would be a
he's could
good pick
easily
here.
outperform. Yeah, I guess Starks could.
Starks would be
I wouldn't
nice.
hate that.
Yeah, or even Harmon, but
Yep.
I do like going James Pierce, getting the edge, getting another edge rusher. Um, so Ethan, earlier when we were talking about Shadur Sanders to the Raiders, and I
No, that was my spot.
it's the Rams.
Is that his spot? Yeah.
Oh, I didn't mean to cut you off. I should have just let you say it. Damn. All right, go
No, I
ahead.
teased earlier.
Yes.
This is the best spot for him, I think.
So Shadur
Going into
Sanders
a McVay
falling.
system, get behind Stafford, forget about all the Dion stuff, and then all of a sudden, boom, 2 years down the line, he's your starting quarterback.
That's nice for McVay, especially, and that's a good piece to have for the Rams to be like, "Hey, don't retire." Remember when you were like joking about retiring after we won the Super Bowl? Like, definitely don't do that. Here's our quarterback for the future. You can work with him, and if
Yep.
you don't, and the thing is, like, this gives you the opportunity where if Stafford's retiring in 2 years, you don't play him, and you see him in practice every day. If he sucks, you kind of can find out. Like I know he's not in game time, and you're gonna see some game film of him. He'll be in some games, but
Yep.
you'll kind of know if he sucks or not. And they could just figure out a way to move on. I mean, he's the 20th pick, and people won't care. Or best case scenario, you get a Jordan Love scenario, and he's the 24th pick. He sits behind the veteran. He learns, and he comes out ready to go. And I think that's a good point too. If he has the Sanders family is in LA, Ethan just said, um, that it
I don't
makes sense. Hmm.
rather be as far away as possible from the
From the crowd.
his dad.
But Sean McVay's not going to ever get fired. They're never going to fire him. So they they're getting an insurance plan on McVay, honestly, because you're like, hey, even if Stafford retires, we have some hope here.
Yeah, here's a shiny new
Yeah,
quarterback that you can develop.
that puts a lot of pressure on McVay. I think about it.
I don't think there's any pressure on McVay ever.
That's true. He's in LA. He's cool Joe. There's no,
And he won a Super Bowl.
yeah. Yeah, I guess once you win the Super Bowl, there's never any pressure.
Yeah,
Um,
unless you're Doug Peterson. There's
there's pressure
immediate pressure and you
immediately.
get fired.
Yeah. Oh man. All right, we have the Ravens. The GM is not Ethan this time. Um, if you listen to previous episodes, you might be surprised by that. But if not, you have no idea who I'm talking about. But our graphics guy Lambo
If
is
you
the
listen to
Ravens
the
GM.
beginning of the pods. Oh wait, Lambo was on for Fortnite with us.
That's true. Yeah, he was. And if you listen to if you listen to us talk about the comments, Ethan's literally commenting right now. But we have Lambo. He was making a thumbnail for us. I had him making the Ravens GM. And he said, all right, let me tell you should I tell you the description first or should I tell you the person? The description's pretty funny.
Description first, because now I'm curious.
Okay. Have you ever seen one of those IG posts where it's like perfect wide receiver and it's a bunch of mixed players with the best attributes mixed into one? Just as an athlete, I think he's like a perfect D end IG post. His arms are stupidly long. He has crazy fast and he's crazy fast and flexible. He's super raw as a pass rusher, and I think at worst he'll be a great run defender in the league. If he does, but he has crazy upside, and if you can put it all together, he'll be amazing. Um, I guess you already know, right? Who it is?
I already know.
Yeah, you already know. It's Michael Williams of that was the description. It's Michael Williams out of Georgia, the linebacker. Um, I think that'd be a good pick for the Ravens. They definitely need some edge help. They definitely need some defense help. Um, I know Ethan. I didn't tell him what it was, even though he is gonna pick here soon. But I didn't tell him who was on the board or who the Ravens took. So I'm excited to see what he says. What do you think about Michael Williams here?
Uh, I love it. I think the size is definitely intriguing because I think drafting a guy like this who his floor is he's going to be a good run defender on the edge. I like the idea of that. And best case scenario, like he turns into a dominant pass rusher because the physical traits are there. It's just like, can you harness them? Like he's super undeveloped in that aspect of his game, but he's not just going to be like a purely rotational guy for you. Like that's the thing with Pierce is he'll come in and probably be a rotational guy for the Rams,
like
which
third
makes sense for
downs.
them.
Yeah.
But Williams on the Ravens, like he can play every down, um, because you have that floor as an elite run defender. Well, I won't call him an elite run defender, but he should be a capable run defender right away.
I like it, and I think they kinda I guess the Patriots really developed him, Van Noy. But when Van Noy left the Pats, he went to a bunch of different teams and he didn't do it any well. He didn't do it well at all. And then he went to the Ravens and he had his like career year the last year. And
Mhm.
they were able to revive Jadeveon Clowney, which was a similar. I mean, Clowney had the college production as well, but he was all about physical traits and all about his speed and length and everything. So when they have a Dafid Owe, which Ethan is complaining about in the comments, saying they're that's just drafting another Odafe Owe, and it'll take him 4 years to get double-digit sacks. Have some patience. 4 years. I mean, I guess you're missing his whole rookie contract, and you're trying to win now. But um, if you can develop him a little bit faster than that, and get him to be to where he needs to be, I think he'd be a good edge rusher for them. And I think he would help out, especially you said they could play any down, but if he comes in for those third downs, those first downs, those second downs as key run defenders, I think that would be a good position for them to use as well. Ethan,
Absolutely.
Ethan said if Golden was on the board, he would take Golden, and he doesn't even want a receiver. And then he said he would take Starks. He shouldn't have read that because Starks is his next pick. Ethan was our Lions GM, and uh, he picked Starks. He gave me a description for him as well. Chuck Smith.
This one's interesting.
Oh, is our pass rusher coach. Okay. Um, all right, let me read this description real quick. Um, pers okay. Oh, best safety is Brian Branch, who also plays nickel on their team. Um, he thinks that Starks is the best remaining player, and it gives you a true safety duo with Kirby Joseph and Starks, and then you can put Branch in the slot, which Ethan thinks is his best position. You're helping out the young cornerstones and holding down the defense. I think it sounds pretty solid.
Like that a lot. And it just had a sign DJ Reed, right, to play outside.
Yep. Yeah, lost
Yeah, I
Carlton
like
Davis,
really
but replaced
revamped
him
their
with Dean.
secondary. Yeah, I think Reed's better. Yeah, bring Branch in to play nickel. Yeah, I think it's a good fit. What?
Because
You made a face.
we signed Carlton Davis. The Pats.
um,
That's why. That's why I was giving you the face. I do also
yeah,
agree
I
though.
think
I think he's better.
the other options for the Lions, like what would you even take? I guess definitely edge rusher.
They're looking to
I'd probably
trade
look at this class
Jameson
saying that
Williams.
there's so many guys. Really?
That's what I've heard. I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe Ethan can help us in the comments. Um, but I've seen it on Twitter. Maybe people are getting bored. Um, unfollows the Lions on social media. All right, now it's getting real. It's getting real. It looks like the Jets are eyeing him up. Um, I could see like I think he had a much better season last year than he did the year before, of course. But I think he's a pretty good wide receiver. I don't know why they'd move on from him. Maybe because they should just send him to
Contract
Bears.
coming up.
Give him back to Ben Johnson. Just let him do
And throw the
everything.
football around a little more.
Yep. And then Ethan is thinking maybe Golden is a Lion because of that.
I guess if they're
I guess
moving
if they
on, yeah,
love,
that would make sense.
I know people do it all the time. Like we watch teams do it all the time where they trade one of their vets and then just draft the same position in the draft.
Niners do it.
Oh yeah, I just do it all the time. I don't know. I just don't agree with it.
It's
They're sick.
annoying, but
Oh,
it
they
makes
said they're sick and tired. Ethan said they're sick and tired of him thrashing out. I guess that's fair. We're not in the locker room with him. All right, Chris,
I up.
you're up.
I hate my pick.
You don't like it anymore?
No, I like it. I want to trade down. That's what I want to see them do, and I think they will. But we're not doing that in this mock draft. Obviously, maybe next year. So I'm stuck at 29. I'm taking the best player on the board. It just happens to be a need, and that's Amarin Hampton, running back from North Carolina.
This will be fun.
I give me that explosive 3-down back.
Yeah.
It's funny how we both end up taking running back.
We like bookend the
The
draft.
only two.
We literally
Only two running off the board is our 2 teams.
Yep.
That's a true fan-led mock draft. But I think it makes sense, I think Daniel Jeremiah has him as the 13th player overall, and we're getting him at 29. Um, Edge is the biggest need in my book. I think there are too many guys where I'm comfortable taking one in the second round, whereas running backs, it's still a deep class, but I think the difference between Hampton and whoever you have ranked third is bigger than the difference of whatever edge you're going to take. So I consider Jamar Stewart here. I don't like taking a gamble. That's partly my personality. That's partly where the team is at right now.
Can I pause you on that real quick?
I think go for it.
Shamar Stewart, you take him, and then you just never hear his name ever again.
That's the worst case. Like you need somebody to come
Like at
who can
least Amari
impact
and
right away.
Hampton, you're gonna hear his name.
Hampton's like 80% sure that he's going to be what he's supposed to be. Shamar Stewart is 50% best. Um, so yeah, the other guy I actually consider for a little bit is Derek Harmon, but they just signed Kinlaw, and it would be tough to draft an INT tackle. They need another weapon on offense, whether that's another receiver or a running back. And Hampton would be awesome in this offense, like true 3-down back, and run through guys and break off a big run, use him in the passing game. Pretty good pass blocker too. So I think if
I
he's
love
there, make
the oh, here you go. The Ethan is saying is giving your young quarterback a star running back to unlock their full potential. The 2025 version of giving your young quarterback a star wide receiver to unlock their full potential. Yes, because the wide receiver draft
it pretty much is.
sucks. The wide receiver draft sucks compared to
Well, also it's
previous
because
years.
Saquon Barkley got the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
That's true. But like, if this was last year, you know, if this was last year and we're picking where we picked and we didn't and we had Drake May, um, like I want Malik Neighbors at this pick. Even if we don't have an O line, I want Malik Neighbors. If I want Jamar Chase in this draft at 4, if we the same
Yep.
roster, and honestly, I think we saw the Penny Sewell and the Jamar Chase, we saw the graphics, we saw the campaigns for both of them, and I think it worked out for both teams. I think both teams are pretty happy with the draft picks they've gotten.
Then the
And
Lions went and took Jahmyr Gibbs at 12.
yeah, exactly. And as long like it's like I feel like everyone gets so caught up of where you draft him, and I guess it matters with the money, but once you're out of the top 15, it doesn't matter where the money is, I guess. Like unless besides 5th round options or fifth not 5th round options, but 5th
It's
year
your option.
options. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe we just want some good running backs, Ethan. Sorry you have Derrick Henry.
We just want to see
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, we
Want to see
want
fun running. Yeah.
some fun running
You know what you
backs.
ask for? Do me.
Honestly. The
I want someone who, when he touches the ball, there's a part of me that thinks he's just gonna score a touchdown. That's what I want.
Yes. And I think since we saw that in the Super Bowl, it's just like it's possible. It's like if I don't think though if Jamar Chase wins the Super Bowl with Joe Burrow, and I know that's completely blasphemy, but I don't think we're sitting here saying Luther Burden is the number 1 pick or number 4 pick um in this draft, right? I think that's what he's kind of getting at. And I think it's draft based, not running back value based. That makes sense.
Yeah, you lost me.
Okay. So he said, "Is giving your young quarterback a star running back like the new version of giving your quarterback a young
Yes.
wide receiver?" But I think it's draft dependent. I don't think I guess maybe in the 20 like the
Okay.
yeah.
Right. I agree.
Okay. All right. That's what I'm getting at. I think
And still, the receivers are going earlier than the running backs.
yes, besides Genty, which is
From Gent-
yeah, which Genty is basically he's the Jabbar Chase, he's the Malik Neighbors, he's the
the
Justin Jefferson. Well, I guess Justin Jefferson didn't go that high, but
no, Jefferson was in the 20s.
can't believe the Eagles
Marvin
passed up on
Harrison.
him. Yeah, Marvin. Yeah, Marvin Harrison.
The
Um,
GM, Harris.
yeah. All right. We have the Buffalo Bills up next. Ty Lewis is our GM here. Um, here's what we got. I got a nice a nice explanation for this one. Many Bills fans out there want the organization to gamble on a first round offensive talent like the wide receivers that we've named. Um, but he thinks that there's an unproven, crowded wide receiver room with sophomore Keon Coleman. He said boomer bust candidate Josh Palmer and reliable slot receiver Khalil Shakir. I think those are all respectable adjectives for the Bills receivers. Not going too overboard. Along with less impactful pieces like Curtis Samuels. And uncertainty surrounding Amari Cooper. I think it's risky to take a wide receiver here. He thinks they need a versatile lockdown corner in Trey Amos um, that would add confidence into the defense. And with a reunion of Trey White and Dane Jackson, they're looking to get new cornerbacks, and adding them with Christian Benford and Teron Johnson, they would have a stacked cornerback room that would be able to take over the AFC. One of the deepest in the
Love it.
leagues, he said, if they drafted him. I like it. I
Yeah,
like it a lot.
I wouldn't take receiver here as a Bills fan. Definitely not. It feels like they've already invested so much up front. So I think corner makes a lot of sense here.
And they had Karai Elam out there who they traded to the Cowboys because of course the Cowboys saw a bad player and were like, give him to me for a fourth rounder.
That's
And
bad.
and he was getting cooked. The Chiefs specifically targeted him every play against them. And so they need the depth there. So they got all these rehashes back on their team. I don't think Trey White. I mean, Ethan's in the comments here. He was on the Ravens for the latter half of the season. I don't even know if he played. Um, so they need that corner help, and I think that this would be a perfect piece for them.
Yep.
All right, the Chiefs. Our guy Matt. If you watch the post Super Bowl pod, we have our Chiefs fan, our Chiefs GM, picking here at 31. Um, he was funny. He was like, "Let me get back to you," and then he was like doing some research, and he was like, "This." He was like, "This Josh Simons guy isn't taken yet." It's like, no, he's not taken. It's like, all right, well, I don't know why he's not taken. I'm gonna take him. And he said he saw the injury stuff. He's not worried. He's an O lineman. Um, and Ohio State was a formidable force this year. I think that Josh Simons falling to the Chiefs would be perfect for them.
Yeah, I mean, definitely position in need. We saw what happened last year.
That's what Matt was saying too.
I think, yeah, I'm sure he went into it with pre-bias of I'm probably going to take the best offensive lineman on the board.
Yeah, he said he was thinking
Can't go
about
wrong.
some other edge rushers or something fancy, and then was like, we have to go O line after what we saw in the Super Bowl. Um,
Yep.
And it's funny, the Chiefs, they'll find some guy like if Golden falls, they'll just trade up in the second round. Like if this is accurate in this draft, they'll just trade up in the second round and get Golden. And the Bills or something will give them the pick. So stupid.
Yeah.
Um, all right, go to the Eagles with Mike.
It
Shout
up.
out Mike. Wrapping up, yeah, the caboose here, Mike. Um, did he? First of all, he said, "I wish I knew about this earlier. I would have shipped you AJ Brown to move up for Abdul Carter, which Abdul Carter didn't fall, so he would have been trading up for Ashton Gentry. But
Yeah.
um, if that comes in for fluidity, that is a player I will take for the fourth overall pick. I'd take AJ Brown in a heartbeat for the fourth overall pick. Um,
TJ Watt?
no, because
TJ
I
Watt
want
is
to see
better
Drake
than
May throw
AJ Brown.
touchdowns. I want to see
I
Drake
know.
May.
I
I
know.
want to see touchdowns. Tired of defense. I want to see touchdowns. Um. All right. Let's see if he has a. I forget if he has a thing here. No, he just said he's taking Derek Harmon. Um.
Best player available.
Yeah.
You just lost Milton Williams. Plug him right in there. I like
It's
this
too
would be so
easy.
ridiculous.
It's too
It's
easy.
way
It's
too
gonna
easy.
happen too.
That's why, like, maybe he's not a good GM. Like, we're saying it's too easy. We said it was too easy with Jalen Carter. Like, had the Quinion Mitchell one pegged.
At least they had to trade up for
Jean in the
Jalen
second round.
Carter. Like at least they
No, I don't think they
did
did.
they not trade up with the Bears?
I don't think so. They traded up for DeJean.
Oh, maybe the Bears just didn't take him. Yeah.
Well, because he
uh,
killed his teammate
yeah, that's
when
why
he
the
was released.
Eagles. Oh no,
He
yeah,
fell. And I'm like, we don't care.
they did, but the Bears. I think the Eagles had the 10th pick, so they literally moved up one spot. Yeah, they traded the ninth pick, and the they traded for the ninth pick and they traded the 10th pick and a fourth overall or fourth rounder for Jalen Carter. That's insanity.
Unbelievable.
But like
So
you got to give some credit to just saying, "Oh, the best player on the board is still there. Hey, let me at least call the team ahead and just be like, let me just get him now."
right.
Like, "Oh, it's only gonna take a fourth rounder. I'll take it." Um, all right. This falls right into their laps. They get another young stud on defense that can carry them to the next 5 Super Bowls, and they can sack Mahomes 100 times. That was a lot of fun. That was a long hour 30.
That was fun.
That was fun. Next time, I wanted to get a Discord. Fans got to remind us. I'll set a reminder on my phone a couple weeks before the draft. We'll get a Discord going. We'll get some trades. It'll be fun. Um, Thank you all for everyone who participated. All of our GMs out there, and thank you all for listening. Hopefully, your fan base did what we did what your fan base wanted, and thank you all for listening. See everyone after the draft, post draft recap. So